So obviously, today is Mother's Day, and today we have the opportunity to celebrate the amazing women in our lives that we call mothers, grandmothers. So let's see, mothers, stepmothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, great-great-grandmothers, adopted mothers, foster mothers, second moms, like a mom, mom to a pet. We honor all mothers today. I have we had our mothers teach us lessons throughout the years? Yes. So I want to share with you some lessons that maybe our mothers taught us. See if you resonate with some of these lessons. My mother taught me about anticipation. She said, "Just wait until your father gets home." My mother taught me about receiving. You're going to get it when we get home. I think probably most of us had these. My mother taught me logic. If you fall out of that swing and break your neck, you're not going to the store with me. My mother taught me medical science. If you don't stop crossing your eyes are going to stay that way. Yep. My mother taught me humor. When the lawnmower cuts your toes off, don't come running to me. And my mother taught me about justice. She says, one day you'll have kids, and I hope they're exactly like you so that you can see what it's like. Have we had mothers that said, yes. Have we ourselves said those? Yes, I think probably we have. So to me, the biggest thing that mothers represent is love. Mothers are known as the heart, and fathers are generally known as the head, and both are equally needed in our life. The heart represents love, and the head represents wisdom. And I can tell you that love without wisdom can get you into a lot of trouble, right? And wisdom without love can be very sterile, can be very cold. So both are equally important. It's just that today we're going to talk about love. So we're going to talk about love through honoring mothers. And here's the thing that I want to acknowledge is I know that not everybody had the greatest experience insofar as a mother presence. Maybe didn't even have a mother presence in your life. And so today what I wanted to do was to offer to all of us that there is a beautiful mothering presence that is the reason why we're sitting in this Unity Church today. And this beautiful mothering presence has incredible wisdom for each and every one of us, and that is Myrtle Fillmore, Mother of Unity, as Dee said, Mother of Unity. Now, Myrtle was the heart and Charles was the head. That was very clear even as you just read their books. You can feel Myrtle's, and boy, you got to think about Charles. And again, both were equally needed in order that today you and I would be sitting here at Unity of Springfield to bring this message, to bring this dynamic of unity into the expression that it is today. So I want to share with you some of Myrtle, some of the mothering names that she has been termed. Mama Myrtle, precious mother of unity, beloved mother. But here's the thing, never in a way to idolize or worship her. Myrtle was love, very direct, and she was very clear in what she had to say. And if anybody would start to think that they needed her friendship, needed her in order to be successful in life or to get where they wanted to go, she would say, it is not me. I had nothing to do with it. It isn't the Fillmores. It is the Christ. We are simply the channels. Isn't that beautiful? And it's so true. There's no one person who has your answers for you. It's the Christ within each and every one of us that we are imbued with. That we are the channels of that Christ expression. In fact, in later years, she told someone who really felt that they couldn't do at all without unity, she said, you would do beautifully without unity if you had never heard of us, but had awakened to the realization of the omnipresence of God. And that's one of the things that I loved about the Fillmores. They never intended or never thought that unity was the way. Unity is a way, but their biggest desire in life was that our heart would open to that deep realization of the Christedness that we are, and to the omnipresence and the beauty of God that is all around us every single moment of our lives without fail. So I'm going to share with you some of this mother presence. I do want to say that Myrtle spoke in terms of father, Lord and he, but it wasn't because she thought of God as an entity or a deity, or thought of God as male. That was just the terminology then. She definitely knew God as just this beautiful presence of spirit that was everywhere present. And some of the books that I have taken this from, well, there's Myrtle Fillmore, Myrtle Young, and Myrtle Older, obviously. Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters, beautiful, beautiful book, and Myrtle Fillmore, How to Let God Help You. Now, if you want to get to some real heart things, if you really want to feel, these are the books to pick up and read. This information, Myrtle was born in 1845. That's 169 years ago. And yet, we crack up when we talk about New Thought, because this thought was well before Myrtle's time too. But it still is, what she had to share, what the Fillmores have to share, is still as prevalent, as relevant, today as it was then. And Charles always said, I reserve the right to change my mind. There are many things that with time they probably would have changed their mind on, and certainly that is our opportunity to see what they said, but then to say, well, I don't agree with that today. I think it's changed. So Myrtle always had this wonderful, great appreciation for all of life, and she really had a beautiful relationship with nature and with God. It was her joy to just be present in nature. That's where she really experienced the God of her being. It was said that she was passionately in love with God and with all of nature. And this was what Myrtle was. She was just this purity of love. And I thought about how in the Advent story, we talk about Mary, mother of Jesus, and that she represented love. She represented the love that prepared the vessel for the emergence of the Christ. And it was said that Mary magnified God every day in the temple, and that's how she prepared this vessel. And Myrtle, that's exactly what Myrtle was. She magnified God every day in the world around her. She magnified God in people around her, and certainly she magnified God in her temple, because most of us here know that Myrtle was not only diagnosed with tuberculosis at a young age, but in her 30s was given 6 months to live. And clearly we saw the picture of Myrtle well into her 80s, and she magnified God every day in her body temple. Now, in the opening book of Myrtle, Mother of Unity by Thomas Witherspoon, he said that her mother would awaken her in the morning by saying this: if my little girl would get Aurora's kiss this morning, she will have to be stirring. Quicker than it can be told, Myrtle, Mary Carolyn Page, sorry about that, bounded from her resting place, hugged her mother about the waist, and dashed outside to get the beauty kiss that Aurora, goddess of the morning, shares with early risers. There, and I love this is her just absolute love of nature. There she spoke to the sunrise, as she did most mornings. My, you are beautiful, with your lovely garments trailing all over the sky, and your dewy summer kisses scattered all over the grass and trees. My soul springs forth to meet you. A day can never be dull or unhappy that begins with your kiss. Oh. It makes me want to look at sunrises so differently now. Is that just beautiful? That is really such an opening in our beingness to just experience what is all around us. Now, one of the lessons from Myrtle with this idea of love, and I did title today's talk L.O.V.E, period. And I did that for two reasons. When we went to Denver and we got to see Wayne Dyer, he had a t-shirt on that said love, period. And that was his message, it's love, period. Love is the answer. But also because that's what Myrtle was. That was her biggest message, was about love. And so she loved God through seeing the beauty that was surrounding her. And so one of the things for us to ask ourselves is, what am I seeing? Am I seeing the beauty that surrounds me? Am I letting myself just revel in it and feel it and keep my focus on that beauty? Or am I allowing other things to take my vision away from the beauty that nature is that's all around me. And we love God as we are loving this beauty all around us. Another thing is she loved God by loving herself. And again, it was that she not only through the healing process, it took her about 2 years to be healed, but she continued that journey of really loving her body temple, of appreciating it, of recognizing the magnificence that it is, instead of putting it down, instead of looking for the imperfections. She reveled in the magnificence of the human body. She also showed love of God through loving children. And this was her passion. She actually wrote a magazine called We Wisdom, and it was for the children. And her big question was always, who will take care of the children? Who will take care of these precious little ones, these precious young ones that are going to have the opportunity to take this message out into the world and to help raise the consciousness of the people around them? And that is a question even for us to ask today, because we have areas in our Sunday school and our youth ministry that need people who are ready to help take it to the next level. And you may be one of those people that can help with that. She also loved God through loving others. Now, Myrtle loved people in general. She, for many, 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 many years, would respond to people with handwritten letters. And how beautiful is that, to get an actual handwritten letter from somebody? And she reminded them over and over and over of their innate divinity. She reminded them of the power that was within them. And she always stood solidly upon truth. She was so good at, again, being loving but being direct to help people come back into their own power. So I'm going to share with you some excerpts from the 2 books, Healing Letters and How to Let God Help You. And I may continue this next week, I don't know, because there's so much wisdom in what she wrote for us. And so I picked a few today that I thought could speak to our hearts, this wisdom from Mother Myrtle. She said, the soul must be awakened, brought to a realization of truth, and encouraged in the righteous use of all the God-given faculties and powers. In unity, we see that there are 12 powers, and these 12 powers are represented by the disciples, and there are 12 places in our body that these 12 powers reside. And the powers are life, imagination, power, faith, love, order, wisdom, strength, judgment, which is also discernment, understanding, zeal, and elimination. And I can tell you that as we sink ourselves into these 12 powers and activate them in our lives, this is when the Fillmores believed that we would come into that full Christ consciousness as we would activate these powers and bring them. She says, God, my Father and your Father, has made me to know that no matter what I have done or what others have done to me, he has implanted within me the pattern of perfection. He has given me the life, intelligence, and substance out of which I may recreate my soul qualities and my physical structures, and so come forth a new creature. You too, by studying and proving this truth, can do the same. We are starting to discover that we can actually do the splendid things we were created to do and came into the world to do. My friend, she's reminding us here that we are not our past. We are not what somebody did to us or what we perceive that somebody did to us. We are not that. That we have the ability to rise up out of any condition, any circumstance in our lives. And I love how she says, and do the splendid things that we were created to do in this world. The only things that hold us back are the things that we believe are true in our mind. And as we allow ourselves to sink more fully into that Christ consciousness, that Christ presence, we will start to see by utilizing these powers that those things are not real. And we will spring forth to do things that we have desired to do, that we know are our soul's yearning. She goes on to tell us that there really is no limit to spiritual unfoldment. And I think we really need to hear that. There's no limit to spiritual unfoldment. The Spirit of truth within your own soul, is giving you a right understanding of every experience that comes to you. So every experience that we have in our lives, whether we call it good or bad, that within our soul, the Spirit of truth is giving us the wisdom to know what that is about. And you are calling some of your inactive, unused soul powers into expression to meet the need. You are developing your soul, and this is the important thing. The more you exercise your powers, the stronger they grow. That just makes sense, doesn't it? The more we exercise our powers, the stronger they grow. So you have the assurance and the satisfaction of knowing that your faith and all the rest of your spiritual faculties are being gradually developed until the Jesus Christ degree of unfoldment is reached. Wow. And it's up to us. And that's what she keeps reminding us. It's not about anyone else. It's not about any situation that we have ever been in or are currently in. It's up to us. And we all have that within us. She said, when you truly go to the Christ within yourself, instead of to your own thoughts. Anybody here have a hard time not going to our own thoughts? Yes. When we truly go to that Christ within instead of our own thoughts, you will receive whatever you need. And that, it's so simple, isn't it? It is. It's just simple truth. We'll receive whatever we need. And unless you heed this instruction, drop the unwise things you have been insisting upon and begin to think of God in you and about you as the total fullness of every good, you will seem to go through an eternity of confusion and lack and hungering. You must direct your prayers up, not up into the skies, but up into God consciousness. Wow. I love how, like, bam, she's right there and is just this perfect, great reminder of what is right here within us. And she tells us how to do this. And I so appreciated that Dee today brought the words of Myrtle into this time of silence, because she talks about how important it is to go into the silence, and she calls it the secret place. She says we can become like Jesus Christ if we abide in the secret place of spirit. A period of quiet and rest each day is your opportunity to establish yourself at the center of your being. Isn't that interesting? I think that's like the most important thing that we can do at the beginning of a day, is to establish ourselves right here in the center of our being, instead of jumping out of bed and being scattered. Anybody ever scattered? But we can take that opportunity every morning to establish ourselves right here in the center of our being, and we can do that anytime throughout the day. And the one place where the supply of life and substance, hear this, is inexhaustible. It's inexhaustible. It's infinite. It's always there. God is this eternal life that we make into living. Each day, you should have a period of stillness when the soul may gather sustaining power and restoring life. God gives freely. It is for us to keep the receiving channels open, to keep attuned to the realities, so that our intellect does not take us out among the limited ideas of the world. Again, bam. If we want to have a different experience, we're going to have to figure out a way to get our ideas away from what is out there and into what is in here. Because this is going to give us the fullest life experience, is to come within right here. And then, as Dee shared, she said how. When you go into the silence, just breathe deeply and allow all of that energy to come into your entire beingness. And I love how she said, when you come out of the silence, to count your blessings, to be in appreciation, to speak them. And she said the silence has the opportunity to multiply and to increase those blessings. But what a beautiful way to come out of the silence. And in a lot of her, when I was reading Myrtle, she said you can stay in the silence too long That just like being out in the world too much is not good for us. Being in the silence too long, we're not doing what is ours to do. But she also says, not to work so hard in the silence. Just let yourself be there and just keep breathing and going with the breath and coming back in. And you might even take some of the words of Myrtle and let that be the way that you go into the silence. Goodness, I realized that I'm almost done good. I got the 5-minute mark and I'm like, oh, wait. That's why I may do more of this next week. Okay, I love that she talks about good and evil. And I wanted to share this with you because I love what she said. She said that religionists start out good by proclaiming that God is all good, all power, all wisdom, all presence. And then she says, then when he takes up the problems of life, he introduces false quantities and false theorems, for he declares there is a quantity in life called evil, which equals good in power. Now, don't you see what a mess he makes of it when he goes to form an equation? Good plus evil is both a logical and mathematical absurdity. Where good is, evil, its opposite, cannot exist. Pure reasoning from the axiom. God, the causing power, is all, reduces evil to zero, and the problems of life are resolved to the simple equation: all good equals satisfaction. I love that. And that's Myrtle, she's loving, but man, she's direct. She's right in there. That's absurd to think that there is a presence of good and a presence of evil. And then I love what she says about helping others. Myrtle loved to help other people, and she absolutely was about, when you can help people from the physical perspective, that's a wonderful thing to do. But Myrtle was really more about helping people to wake up to their own divinity, to their own power within themselves. She said, I think I didn't write that down. Essentially what she says is that it is up to us to so fully know the truth for other people that is what we keep our eyes focused on. And that is what we begin speaking to them, is that greater truth, that greater reality. That is how we most help people. We don't want people to get, what's the word I want to use? Used to us, to rely upon us for what they need. We want to empower other people, and we speak the truth. And she said, be careful about that. Be careful about getting people so used to you being that one that they're always coming to you. Make sure that we are empowering them for what their power is inside of them. And ultimately, I think the lesson to take away today from Myrtle Fillmore is the scripture: love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your mind, and with all your soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. I think that what was shared today was really all about that. It was about loving God and knowing God. I loved in the song that it said, I'm so grateful because I know that there's a lot of people in the world that don't know God, and I'm so grateful that I do know God. And we continue to know God and to deepen our relationship with God when we make that commitment to love the Lord our God with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul, and with all our strength, and to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. I want to close with a couple of things. This is what Myrtle wrote in 1897. I do not believe in evil, I believe in good. I do not believe in sin, I believe in truth. I do not believe in want, I believe in abundance. I do not believe in death, I believe in life. I do not believe in ignorance, I believe in intelligence. There are no discords in my being. Being is peace. My faith, understanding, and love are becoming one. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. Whole new take on that, right? And so prayer was the foundation of Myrtle's life. So what I want to share with you now is I want to share with you the voice of Myrtle Fillmore reading the prayer of faith, which is what we sang about this morning.
Dedication and covenant. We, Charles
it's a different
Fillmore
one.
and Myrtle Fillmore, husband and wife.
That is Charles Fillmore. I'm not sure. 7, number 10. I thought it was like number 7. This is it? Okay, this is it.
Unity Ministers Pledge of Service.
This isn't it, is it?
Unity Ministers.
Nope. Can you see on there? This may be it. Is this it? Nope, she didn't sing it.
Friends,
I think on the
My
CD
privilege.
itself it might say what it is.
dedication
Humanity is coming into life. God is my help in every need.
Yes.
God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of the day. I now am wise, I now am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I am, can do, and be through Christ the truth that is in me. God is my help, I can't be sick. God is my strength unfailing quick. God is my all, I know no fear. Thanks God and love and truth are here. Amen.
Isn't that awesome? Yay, Myrtle. So happy Mother's Day to all of you, and I just encourage you to be open to this wonderful mother of unity, Myrtle Fillmore. Have a blessed, beautiful, wonderful, glorious week of just being in love with God. Amen.